Hey everyone, RogueGold here. First off, I just wanted to apologize that it's been so long since a video. Life is pretty busy at the moment, but I will try to get all the news on Division 2 that I can. That being said, before we get into today's topic, I just wanted to let you guys know that next Thursday, the 27th, will be Stay of the Game, as well as a dev blog that they confirmed will revolve around the Division 2. They confirmed these things a few weeks back when they released the September calendar of events. Now, the previous devlog is usually released after Stay of the Game, if I can remember correctly, so if you tune into that first, I bet there'd be some info on there as well. With that out of the way, though, I just wanted to address the topic of pre-orders and the beta in general, their added bonuses, and the controversy of people being upset with what they come with. Before we start discussing this, let's run through what each of the pre-order editions nets you. First off, the standard $60 version of the game gets you the base game, as well as the bonus you receive for pre-ordering any edition, which is the access to the private beta, the hazmat outfit, and the exotic Spaz 12 shotgun called the Lullaby. Next off, we have the Gold Edition. If you order it physically, then you receive the Steelbook case, and if digitally, then you don't. But regardless of what format you get, you receive 3-day early access to the game, meaning you can start playing on March 12th instead of the 15th, as well as the 1-year pass included. I'll go over what that comes with later, but for now you just need to know that it comes with that. Lastly, in the Gold Edition, you get the pre-order bonuses that they all come with that I detailed for the Standard Edition. Alright, next up we have the Ultimate Edition. Now this comes with everything that the Gold comes with, except it has added in-game bonuses. These include the Capital Defender outfit, the Firefighter outfit, an exotic AR that's themed off an AK, which I believe is called the Ruthless, but I am not sure. An emote, a visual skill effect, which from the way that they described it, sounds like it would be in the same vein as if when you shot your first aid on the ground, it would be blue instead of green, something like that. And lastly, you get extra stash base. Don't worry, I'll come back to the stash base later. After this point, we have two collector's editions, only available in a physical version of them. Now, the contents of these really aren't as important to what we're discussing here today, but basically they're identical in their contents, meaning they have everything that the Ultimate does, as well as physical items like a map, artwork, etc. However, each of the two collector's editions has a different statue associated with them. Other than that, they're identical. Now, as a side note, these are the US versions of these editions, as I believe the European and Australian version have different contents in them. Alright, now that we've established what those come with, let's talk about the controversy that they've been caught up in. While everyone's view differs, the general consensus of those who are displeased with these is that there are too many versions, they can't keep track of what they all come with, and that it feels like a cash grab. I don't really agree with this mentality at all. I can understand if you think there's too many versions, but I don't really see how that's a bad thing. Would you rather there only be a base $60 version and a $200 version that a lot less people can buy? Choices aren't really bad in any scenario. Along with the complaints about the number of pre-orders, people are even more concerned with the contents they contain. The two big topics here are stash space and early access. Starting with early access, this honestly just makes my head hurt. It's been said here before, so I'll voice it again, but the gaming industry / community are the most complaining, least satisfied consumers there are on any market across the board. In Division 1, there was a season pass, which had been the trend for a long time in games published prior to Division's release. You want to complain about that? That's fine. It does suck to have to pay more to keep the game that you're playing relevant. A perfect example of this is the most recent Destiny 2 expansion, Forsaken. I felt that it was a scummy move to charge $40 to basically fix the game to the point that they promised it would be at launch. If you dislike that monetization strategy, there's no shame there. However, what people fail to realize is that Ubisoft and Massive need sustained revenue for investors and internal analysts to continue funding the Division franchise. We asked for free DLC, and guess what? They gave it to us. That's great. So what's their solution to ongoing revenue in the void of a season pass? An alternative pass granting cosmetics, activities which have not been specified but expect them to be similar to the supply drops we have now, and 1 week's early access to each of the 3 free DLCs. But no, that's not okay. The uproar that this has caused is honestly disgusting. It's whining for the sake of whining. Now, the early access for the DLCs is part of the Year 1 Pass, which comes with the Gold Edition and up, but people are also upset over the early access launch for the main game. People's main complaint is that it will give a competitive edge to those who get a start early, and will prove to be unfair in places like the Dark Zone and others in a few days into launch. Let me ask you this. How is this different, or worse, than when streamers get granted early access to AAA titles? It happens all the time. It happened with Division 1. On top of this, they said on Stay of the Game that they will be holding back certain elements of the game during the early access period to ensure a fairness for everyone in those first few weeks. If you can't take that answer as a clear example of how the devs hear your concerns and want to address this, then that's your own problem. Not Massive's, not Ubisoft's, not anyone like myself who has an ounce of common sense. Moving from one monstrosity to the next, we have stash space. The argument here is that stash space bundled with a higher tier pre-order package is scummy and something that should either be purchasable separately or not at all. This to me is even more of a headbanger than the early access complaints. I can't tell you how many posts I've seen on the subreddit over the course of Division 1's lifecycle that asked for extra stash space to be purchasable. So what do? Exactly that. And what happens? Pretty much what you'd expect from the gaming consumers. Now Ubisoft and Massive are the bad guys and the greediest people on the planet. By far the most asinine thing that's come out of this pre-order fiasco is that selling this stash space is somehow pay to win. What? How on earth is that pay to win? First off, they haven't specified how many slots they're adding. It could be one. So you're telling me that someone having one extra stash slot has a distinct advantage during a 1v1 in the Dark Zone? Now the counter-argument here that people have been provided when called out on their ridiculous claim is that extra stash slots allow you to hold more variations of gear that in turn allow a greater potential of countering the challenge before you, whether it be in PvP or PvE. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but since when have you been able to use your stash when you're, not at your stash? If I run into a guy using Firecrest in the middle of DZ6 and I want to use my Reclaimer to counter it, oh shoot, it's in my stash. By the time it would take me to run from the checkpoint and back, that guy would be long gone. I honestly doubt the people who make these claims give more than 5 seconds of thought to it, otherwise it would be pretty easy to come to the same conclusion that I just did. Now, similar to the early access, the devs acknowledged this issue on State of the Game, saying that they know how much stash space we needed in Div 1, and that they're going to ensure that everyone will have enough space without the added slots, and that extra stash space will only really be utilized to collectors. To me, that's a pretty damn good and upfront answer. If you are one of the people who proceed to call the devs liars and proceed to shame them after that, then I really just don't have any words left for you. Alright, well now that we're past all the negativity, let's finish off on more of a positive note, the beta date speculation. To clarify, there's two betas. The private beta comes first, and that's for people who pre-order, and then there's the second open beta, who is for the people who sign up online. The open one I'd expect to see happen in January, about 2 months before the launch of the game. That's kind of standard with most AAA games. That means that the private beta will definitely happen this year. The optimist in me really wants to believe that it will happen in either late October or early November, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright everyone, well that's all of the topics to cover for today. I hope this didn't come across as too attacking or negative, but I honestly believe that people need to calm down and use their heads before attacking Massive for these things that really aren't that big of a deal. They're working to improve, so let's just let them do that. Another reminder to tune in to State of the Game this Thursday, the 27th, as well as checking the devlog posted afterwards for Division 2 info. I hope that it's either new gameplay or features, or the beta date announcement. That's all I've got, guys. Make sure to leave your thoughts on this matter down below to discuss. And until the next video, RogueGold, out.